Alrighty then, welcome back to Universe X. This is going to be a really special episode for a lot of reasons. One of the least reasons, just because the channel just did hit a milestone with the 500, and so I wanted to do something super special, and everything just happened to time itself right. We've got a guest that you probably saw this weekend if you actually tuned into PPG, which you should have, because soaking up knowledge while we have such a limited amount of tournaments going on is of the utmost importance if you want to grow as a player. And we have a guest here that kind of just smoked an entire PPG Invitational, and not only did he smoke it, he smoked it with kind of one of the coolest decks of all time. I may be biased. I could be biased, but no, he's been in the Discord for quite some time, and I did not know that he was just out here busting moves like this. Completely went under my radar, and now I'm just sitting here with the binoculars peeping in. So I'd like to introduce Armando, and I'd like just to get him to talk about
Thanks, Chris.
He wants to.
Thanks, Chris. So yeah, I'm Armando D'Alessandro. I started playing Dragon Ball in set 5, so Miraculous Revival. I started with Janemba. I played that exclusively for 3 sets, and then I got sick of it, so I started other decks. I played basically every color. The reason I give you a little bit of the recap is when set 11 came out, I was committed to learning a black deck, because I had never played a black deck before. I had tried Shenron, I didn't like it. I had tried Hachiyak, I didn't like it. So I wanted to learn a black deck, and I like big brain decks. I like moving things around, and I know Janemba's not that deck at all, but I like doing a lot of stuff during my turn. So Dark Broly, I like Super Saiyan 4, I like Broly. It seemed like it was a perfect constellation of all my factors. So day 1, I got the deck almost totally foiled out. I was really jazzed about it. The art on the cards is honestly fantastic. So a little bit of history of my Dragon Ball playing. I recently, what I've done, a year or two back, I got 3rd place in the Niagara Falls Regionals in Canada. I'm a Canadian player, if nobody's aware of that. So I got 3rd in Swiss in the Niagara Regionals, and then I got 4th in Top Cut. After that, I got 22nd in the Chicago Regionals last year with Yellow Baby, and then recently I played the Channel Fireball webcam, got 2nd. The Carta Magica webcam. This was my first official tournament deck with Dark Broly, because I wasn't good with it enough at first. It took a lot of practice. It's not an easy deck. I just kept getting smoked by Gotenks and Red Broly for the first month I played it. A lot of practice, a lot of hard work. That's why my deck is so jank. A lot of the cards in it are specifically in there to counter Red Broly and Gotenks. So yeah, I did pretty decently in that tournament, and then I spent a lot of time grinding in order to prep for this PPG tournament. I operate the blog and YouTube Border City Ballerz. Please check it out if you get time. I write, it's all free articles. It's all, the YouTube matches are granted low quality, but what do you want? I only have so much time in a day. Facts. But yeah, that's basically me in a nutshell. Thanks, Chris, and I'm ready to talk about my deck whenever.
Alrighty then, and we will have the links to his blog spot down in the description. Also, while I'm here, as always, gotta plug the Facebook group. If you're not in it, you should be, because it's where all of us Dragon Ball Super card game nerds like to just chill and congregate. So I mean, I am super psyched to see this, because really anything that's Dark Broly, I'm beyond down, and to see the ways that people innovate it, change up the deck list ever so slightly. I mean, Armando is not wrong. This deck requires massive amounts of focus, because the sequencing is the lifeblood of this deck. Bad sequencing can rob you of 2 swings. Good sequencing can make it look like this deck is just spitting out free card after free card after free card. And really, it's all in how you combo, how you set up your just from deck to grave, all these things. It's cool. The deck has layers. You can't just pick it up. And I remember personally, when I first did the little review on this archetype before the set release, I'm not gonna lie, I called it doo-doo. I was like, ew, this deck plays 1-2 cards a turn. I was mad. And I sat down at the pre-release and happened to pull almost the entire line. Sorry, Tony. and freaking ended up just really liking it. I started exploring it from there and realized the deck was really complex. So we're here. Dark Harambe is finally getting the shine it deserves. Like people are just playing it, people fear it now, and I am for it. So right now, let's talk about your deck list, because there's already some things I think people are going to find unique.
So leader, really basic, everybody knows what it does. It's a front side activate main. You have the option of taking a life, then you search up to 5 cards, put 3 black battle cards with 30k power in the drop area, and then you put the bottom rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. I typically take my life turn 1 with this. Against red, it's a bit of a toss-up because they might drop a free Bardock for you, so you're taking a risk when you do that. That's actually one of the reasons I play the 0+10 super combo, but I'll get into that later. The important thing is when you're taking your life, it's important. You can check the fact there's a ruling on it. It's a freeze a card, but when you search up to, you go 1, 2, 3, and then if you find 3 targets, you can stop right there. You don't have to declare how many targets you're searching first. And I've seen a lot of people always grab 5. You never want to do that with this deck because you don't want to bottom deck your tech cards, because unless you run a shuffler. Awaken side, activate battle. You can pop one of your 30Ks from hand or drop to give the leader plus 5k battle power for the turn. Really important for a few reasons. Number 1, you can use it on your battle cards in rest mode. So it's like your whole board is extra resources. That's really important. The other cool thing about the activate battle is it's a pop with a skill, so you'll see the SS4 go or the SS3 Gohan. You can uses it to trigger the free play, which I did a couple times in the tournament. I would say it was relevant. The only other really important, and it didn't come up for me, and it's not that special. It came up once against when I played Harudegar and Broly, but because you're not actually comboing with your cards, effects like Harudegar or the Bardock SR Unison, they can't stop you from comboing. So decks that try and discourage comboing, Dark Broly doesn't care about because he just activates battle for the extra power. That being said, I run 4 Toas, 4 red balls. It's my favorite turn 1 play. I see people running 3, I see people running 2. 2 I think is wrong, 3 I think is fine, because realistically, like most decks are running 4 to 8 ball searchers. You're gonna find them. It's just important you set up a turn 1 play in your deck. So to me, I wanted to maximize my turn 1 value, so it was 4 Toas, no questions. Next, this is standard. Now I want Chris's opinion on this one here, because I see people playing less or different combinations, and to me, all the Brolys are staple 4s.
So, personally, I feel like there aren't enough strictly good 30k black battle cards to start skimping on Brolys. And when it comes to some people to say, okay, I can run 2 of the blocker, or I can run 3 of each. Well, this game is unpredictable in the sense that you never know what's going into your life. You could literally see a Ravager in your hand and go, easy energy, not knowing that there's 1 Ravager left in deck and 2 in life, and you charge him and then you don't have access to him for the next 2 turns, 3 turns. It really depends on where it is in your life. That's just not going to happen. You need to have these maxed out, and personally, I do think that the blocker one is, some people think that it's just the weakest, and I mean, granted, it kind of is, but at the same time, there are matchups where it clinches. Like, I mean, you put it on the board against Red Broly, and what do they do to it? Like, they can combo onto their bigger ones to swing into it, but otherwise, this guy is at least stopping attacks early in the game. This card is the single-handed reason why Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta will never win an event. Like actually just by itself. Like,
100%.
Dude, I thought Super Saiyan 4 was gonna be so great, and then my homie Justin, shout outs to you, he was actually in the Red Broly games I have on my channel. He just turn 1 saw my leader, played Broly, Ball, and Blocker, and I was like, yo, I'm never playing this deck. And that was just like it. So I definitely think that the Brolys are mandatory for us until they give us some other cards that work the same way. Like, until we get like a 4th Dark Broly that's a 6-drop and has some other effect, I think all of them are 4-drops right now.
I've played the deck a ton, and I will say the blocker Broly, I would consider going to 3. I would consider it, but I would need something really good to take the place, because as it stands right now, you need to see these targets in your drop, full stop. They need to be in there. It's not it's not a question of, oh, they're in the, I'll be able to find them later, or if you charge one and the rest are in your life or your hand, you need to be able to free play, and you want the option to free play any of them depending on the circumstance. So right now I'm running 4. I would consider 3 blockers, but I honestly don't think I would change it. I never even tried testing it, put it that way. Next I got my Overrealms. So 3 Demigra, Demon God Demigra True Power Unleashed. Really good card. It actually, I would say it underperformed for me in the tournament. When you play it, it's strong. But the 2 energy is huge because you don't really want to tap out against a lot of meta decks. So a lot of the times I sat on this till turn 3, or I just charged it. And to play it when there's no target to warp also feels bad when there's other plays you can do. I do really like that it's a 0+5k, and that's why I'm running 3 of them. Really stellar card. Mass Saiyan, another 0+5k. I was running this at 1, and then I tried it at 2. I had never really overwhelmed with it. I was just keeping it for the hand trap skill. I didn't even realize the Overrealm putting 3 black battle cards back can help you fix your drop and warp.
100%.
So yeah, it's something that this card, it was way better than I thought, because I would have, 2 balls, a negate, and then a couple battle cards in there. Overrealm. Now I'm back to 3 black battle cards, and we're in business to play a Broly with once I use my leader skill.
If I can,
the other cool.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was like,
interject.
if I can, interject. So Mass Saiyan is kind of a weird card because you will find playing the deck, he almost always will be charged, used as a 5k combo, or just flipped off the top of your deck into the grave. But at the same time, when he is used, like the one time you stop a triple strike with his effect, you're gonna be like, yo, best card in the deck. Or the one time, like, well, this isn't gonna be really a one-time situation, but he is one more 30k swing that doesn't require your energy. Dark Broly can operate a lot of times off of 2 energy. 3 energy is kind of where you sometimes even cap out in certain games. And the fact that you can have another 30k swinger is monumental. And this guy just gets better and better as the game goes on. Like, just like Armando said, you literally can play him, fix your graveyard. Okay, you swing, he's 30k, big body. You can put a chomp behind that if you need to, or you can just have him swing. When you swing with your leader, you sack him through the effect, because he's a 30k black battle card. You now have changed your graveyard count from however much it was to 0 through effect, to 3 through the sack outlet, to at least 4. And that's most of a new Dark Broly. So he's actually a very nice cog in this setup.
My favorite Overrealm of the deck, Mirror Creator Absorbed. A lot of lists I saw weren't running this. I love it for a few reasons. Now, to be fair, first I was running Mirror Assault from the Skies in my list, because I thought the double strike was just so much better. But once I got more experience with the deck, Broly actually has somewhat of a hard time against blue, and particularly against Universe 7 Invoker, because it's really easy for Invoker to shut your play or shut your turn down, whether it's Violent Rays or Royal Condemnation. So the fact that Mira, Creator Absorbed, has Deflect is huge, because it gets around your Trunks God Ceiling, it gets around your Royal Condemnations. I really enjoyed the card as a finisher, and you got to pair it with the classic Champa. If your opponent taps out at 1 life, you play Mira and you win. There's almost nothing they can do to stop you. They're not going to spark you negate. They're not going to. It's the other, and this is kind of like a cool techie thing I appreciated about it. It's actually a 1+10k. So if you're in a situation where you have a low hand size and extra energy, you can actually pay the combo cost for it, and it ends up being a 10k in your hand, so you get a little more value out of it. Alternatively, you can activate Battle to make it a 0+5. So it gives the deck quite a bit of flexibility. Next, the Champas. So I first ran 1 Champa, Then I ran 2, and I thought 2 was the number. After testing, I had such a hard time against defensive decks like Blue Baby and U7 Invoker that I was conferring with my friend Donnie, and to his credit, he really helped me on the deck. He goes, "You need more Champas." He goes, 3 or 4. I talked with Jimmy from Hermit Style Podcast, who indicated the same to me, that it was super important. Those are great guys. They give good advice. So 3 Champas was the number for me. I wanted to side a 4th, but then ended up thinking it wasn't necessary. And I'm happy with that decision. I don't think I would have ever sided a 4th in. Tag Team Gohan. This card, I think, to play this deck competitively, I've said it in my own videos. I've said it in other tournaments when I play in. You need at least 2. I think 3's the number, because you can pop your own battle cards. This lets you get extra aggression for your bad matchups when you need to turbo. It also gives you a defensive pop option. And it's a blocker, so during your opponent's turn, you can block. I first realized its true value when I was sitting on 2 of them. My opponent played a Gotenks to pop my Broly blocker, and I free played one of these. He Frieza popped it, and then I free played the second one. So it hurt my hand for sure, but it's way easier to spend 2 cards and block a 25k Gotenks swing than it is to have to combo out from your hand.
Facts, and it's also a card that will almost always get under Prospect in the very sticky mid game, where they can shut down most of your deck. And the amount of swings you can have, whether it be Gravy, whether it be Mechagabora, whether it be Super Saiyan 3 Sun Gohan, like, just being able to swing under Prospect puts so much pressure on them. They've already dropped a card, they've already paid the energy, and then when you force them to start playing more negates or more combo power after they've already thought they've cut off your turn, you really start putting them on the back foot, and you can't let a blue deck be comfortable, otherwise they'll just take control of the game. So, good cards.
Same thing gets under Violent Rays. I would agree with that. That's the same kind of situation, right? It's I think it's fantastic, and I think the meta the way it is, it's an important card. Mechikabra, Broken Seal. In testing, I ran 2 main, 1 side. After looking at, I think the week beforehand, there was Giancarlo had topped with it was Dark Broly, but quite a different build. But the big thing was he was running, he kind of put everyone on notice that the deck was really, really good. So I knew Dark Broly was going to be popular. I knew Red Broly was going to be popular. I expected to see Gotenks, but I didn't end up playing against that much of it. And against any linear deck, Mechikabra is a great play. Whether you play it turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, turn 5. I ended up bumping it to 3 because I realized this was my only real defense against Invoker, because I can play it on my turn 2, declare Vegeta 3. I can play it on my turn 4, declare Son Goku 3, to stop them from burning my life without interacting with me.
Mm-hmm.
So at 2, it wasn't enough. My opponent could peek my hand and drop 1. So I would typically just hold these all game if I saw them, until I identified a defensive turn it was best to play them. The other thing is it's another ball searcher, which certainly never hurts. Next up, I got 2 Toa Dark Aura Deluge.
Mm-hmm.
I like this card. I don't think it's as good or as relevant as a lot of other Dark Broly players do. I see people saying you should run 3 or 4 of them because, you know, it's your playmaker. It helps you get anything back from your deck. For me, I'd rather have a card in my hand and make a play. Tapping 1 to play this, and it can get countered. It can get answered. You're most often just playing it, popping itself to grab a card from your drop, or you're playing it, popping something else to get a 7th card in drop so you can play a Dark Broly. Personally, I used it to get back my Demigras and my Mass Saiyan Brainwash No More.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I cut it down to 2. The other thing is, Power Burst gives you so much search in this deck. You can grab your 1-drop Broly, you can grab this, you can grab your other Toa. And I felt with the 3 Power Bursts I'm running, 2 is sufficient. I think that number's fine. I wouldn't change it.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the card is different now than when it was at the beginning of the format. Because at the beginning of the format, I actually liked Dark Aura Deluge more than I did the Ball Searcher. But also, at the beginning of the format, if you weren't facing Gotenks, you are facing some random blue deck. And if you weren't facing some random blue deck, you could be facing red Broly because it was still sort of without the TPs, like people weren't as on it, or you'd be facing another green deck that used dormant potential. And with so many decks just shutting off your entire battle phase and leaving some of your cards like vulnerable or messing up your graveyard count when you would have comboed, there were a lot of times where I liked just being able to keep Dark Aura Deluge on board. They're usually not going to waste resources to kill it, but at the same time, you can just put it on board, start sacking, and at least looping things like Ravager. But nowadays, there's not really a lot of space to play it against red Broly. There's, in the mirror, it's not really the same type of card. So I definitely agree with where the meta is now. The card can just go down. Like, it's not how it was for me at the beginning of this set.
And I can see playing it at 3 for the exact reasons you said. For my playstyle, it's clearly seeing the next couple cards I'm going to show. I'm running a more defensive deck, and to me, I'd rather keep the energy open than loop Revive Ravager. So to me, the 2 was perfect, and I definitely wouldn't change that. My favorite topic of controversy is my super combos. I'm running the 0 plus 10k 4 life super combos. Couple reasons for that. The 0 plus 10 is natural. So what that means is if somebody swings at me with a 15k double strike, Majin Vegeta leader, for example, I can combo this guy out and get out of the early 2 damage for one card from hand. The other thing is, if it's double strike crit, it's combo power. I had one matchup, and it wasn't in the tournament. It was playing with friends, but he wouldn't let me awaken, just kept me at high life, but reduced himself to 2 life. I had 4 super combos and a Champa in hand, so I swung with leader and went to 60k double strike on my front side, right? Without these, I would just be stuck at 0 combo power. So to me, the 0 plus 10 definitely has value. The other thing is the decks I'm afraid of are blue and Apex Victory Strike. Blue is going to play Fu Shrouded and turn off your draw power on your super combo. So that makes the Vegeta card dead in your hand. And Apex is going to do the same thing. So my big thing was, against the matchups I needed the super combo for, I felt these ones were better.
I can get behind that.
The other thing is, and this is because I'm probably more reckless than I should be, if I have my tech cards in hand and a red ball, I want to charge the red ball. With those super combos, I can charge a red ball and it doesn't jeopardize the draw power. The Vegeta super combo, you need all black energy, so, and same thing with Bobbity.
Very true.
Next we go into the negates. So 3 power burst, 2 petrification. I was running 3 and 3 originally, and I felt it was a little too much. The petrification is like the meta sniper. I don't know how nobody's running this card, because to me that it's one of the best black cards in the game. How it works is you negate and you drop a card from your hand, then you choose one of your opponent's cards ignoring barrier, and that card can't activate skills, can't attack, can't be comboed. So for example, in my finals matchup against Andrew Davale, he had the double strike Piccolo on the board in active mode, swung with his leader. I negated, petrified his Piccolo. So now that Piccolo wasn't combo power. He couldn't attack with it, and it was going to leave the turn at the end of or it was going to be warped at the end of the turn. So it let me get a lot of value and avoid a 20k double strike. The 3 sparking negates are sparking negates. You need them, in my opinion, especially in a deck that can fill the drop as easy as this one. Power Burst is also awesome in black because it doubles as a searcher, so you can grab your different 1-drops, and I think it adds so much value. If I wasn't already running so many defensive options, I would probably bump Power Burst to 4, truth be told.
It's a very good card in this deck.
The other, one of my favorite tech cards is the Toa Unison. This one's an interesting choice because I tested out, I was running the SS Broly Unison for a while. And it's good, it's a fine card, you get to reload the 2 from your drop, so, and it does what your leader wants it to do. It gets under Violent Rays, which, again, Toa kind of gets under Violent Rays. Your opponent can choose Unisons, and then you attack with your battle cards and vice versa. So I tried the SS Broly, I didn't like it. I tried the Gravy combo to just add more cards in your drop. And it was fine, but I didn't like it because ultimately I felt like it didn't get under violent raise and didn't pose enough of a consistent threat. What it was is I play it, I swing with it, I reload 2, and then my opponent kills it next turn. So I ended up trying out Toa at my friend Donnie's advice. He plays Red Broly. He and I did a lot of testing matchups against Red Broly. His thing was, and I didn't even realize this, Toa's once per turn auto is when one of your opponent's battle cards is removed from their battle area by a skill or KO'd, add a marker to this card. What that means is when Red Broly swaps, Toa gains a marker. So during your, or if I'm playing against Dark Broly, when they swing and when they activate battle pop their card, Toa gains a marker. It's like your opponent can deal with them, but using their card effects throughout the game, she's going to passively gain markers. They have to answer her because her -4, she can steal one of your opponent's cards. And then her +0 is just additional removal for me because I'm not really running any board wipes. It's small target removal. I mostly used it for the ball blockers. I think it's a great card. I got these cards for $5 each. I wish I would have gotten a playset because now they're like 15. But that's life. And that's the main. Going into the side real quick, 3rd copy of Petrification.
Yep.
Like I said, I think it's the best black negate in the game. 3 copies of Super Kamehameha. This was a card I don't think I ever actually played before the tournament. And I know I misplayed it around, and my opponent was really gracious and explained to me how it worked. But basically, this is your answer to Floodgates, and this is your answer to your opponent's. For me, it was Invoker, the 3-drop Goku. I needed an answer to stop that Goku in case I couldn't find Mechakabra. So, and I needed an answer to Topo, and I needed an answer to the Trunks Floodgate. So Super Kamehameha filled that role. I most often sided 2. I would still keep my side at 3 copies. I think 4 is a little too many. So I think 3 copies is good for Super Kamehameha. If I had to change my deck, I might actually consider main decking 2 of these because it was so useful in a lot of matchups. I expected to play against a lot of Dark Broly, and there was 18 Dark Broly players in the tournament, and I dodged everyone. I didn't play a single pair match. So.
Master the skillful dodge.
Legitimately. 2 Haruharus. I didn't really know what to fill my side with, so this was just a side against green and yellow. 2 Kawitsukais. I thought this was going to be so relevant and so fire.
Yes.
I didn't even put it in my deck once. I didn't even put it. I was like, why am I? This is.
That sounds very correct.
Yeah, it's You'll see my side deck is basically all filled with blue hate because blue is one of the only bad matchups Dark Broly has, and I didn't want to lose just because my opponent's playing a blue deck. So I have the Son Gohan changing history. I sided this in against Invoker a couple times. It was fine. I'm glad I sided it in. Might consider dropping it to 2, but 3 is fine. Kawitsukai, I don't know how this became a bad card. It was like literally the best card in the game forever. And I don't know.
People eating out fat beat sticks, and Kawitsukai just sits there like, well, you're not under 15k. All right, I guess.
Exactly. It's like, oh yeah, this isn't going to be relevant at all. So if I ever played against Blue Baby, I would have sided these in, but I never did. So, Protector of the People and Fu the Dark Vanisher. Protector of the People, I only sided in once against VJX. I didn't think it was very helpful. I think I charged the 1 copy I saw. To me, Petrification does the same job, but it's better. That being said, in case your opponent plays a nutty weenie go wide deck, you need Protector of the People on your side. Because you need to be able to answer like go wide 15Ks. Fu the Dark Vanisher is in there for blue, and more particularly for the mirror. And again, this is another Hermit style suggest, so shout out to them. But I didn't realize the permanent works on Broly's activate battle. So if you play this against Dark Broly, I have to warp a card every time I want to combo, and it's just soul crushing for a triple attack card. That's another reason I wanted to main deck those Petrifications. Oh no, I don't even think Petrification would work because it's permanent, it's not activated. That's a sad day. So Yeah, for 4 energy, I barely ever got to 4 energy there. And I honestly don't think tapping out when you do get to 4 is the play. But if I had an opportunity to play this, I would have. I never played against any matchups where I thought I was going to honestly get to 4 energy.
Fact.
So, yeah, that's basically the deck in a nutshell, with the explanation of my tech cards and everything kind of funky I'm playing. To me, the Petrification was a huge card. The Mechikabra, they're completely necessary. If you don't have at least 2 of them, I would recommend getting 2 of them for any deck. Because if you know your opponent's meta, if you know your opponent's deck and you know the meta, playing that card can either win you the game straight up or at least buy you a turn straight up.
I dig that. I think because we're kind of getting closer to like an hour than not, I think what we're going to go into, because there's so much information to be had here. And so this isn't just going to be a 1-part video. So I think should go into just a brief description of the tournament, just his matchups, the things that stood out most for him. And then I think we can break it in half for later this week, a part 2, where we go into where he's going to move forward from here. But I'd definitely like to hear about your tournament. Let me know. How many rounds were there? What were your matchups? What did you remember most?
So it was I went 9 rounds. It was a 12-hour tournament. Bit of a slog, bit of a grind. I played a lot of great players. There were a couple things that, there were some disconnection issues or choppy video issues, but for the most part, you trust your opponent and it all works out well. So my matchups were round 1, I played against Chris Williams. That was VJX. I won that match 2-1. This was the last tournament where I would say this matchup for this tournament is a straight 50-50. Depending on how the VJX player bursts. I do think now that Trunks has gone down to 1, I do think it's more favored for Dark Broly. So I don't think VJX is as tough of a matchup moving forward. But I ended up losing. I think I lost game 2. I won game 1 and I won game 3.
Okay.
My round 2 was against Jiren. This was Mike Ricciuti's deck. He's a great player. He played this Jiren deck that had Height of Mastery, it had Cell Zeno, and it had Mira. First game, he wrecked me with the Mira. I did not expect it at all. Tapped out, had no negates. He got me down to 1 life, and then he just mirrored me, and that was it. Game 2, I saw the Cell Zeno coming. It was crazy, actually. I remember this very clearly. I had 5 cards in my hand. I had sided my extra Petrification, so I had 3. He warped 3 of them. I petrified and dropped my last card to stop the Cell Zeno from attacking again, and that won me the game. And then game 3 I won. He had tried the mirror again, but I had a standing energy and negate hand. I didn't expect Jiren to be as tough of a matchup for Dark Broly, but because Dark Broly can take a couple turns to really get winding up, once Jiren gets to 4 life, he's going to take a life and then stop your turn every turn. So it's almost like it takes you 3 turns longer no matter what.
No, that makes sense.
Round 3 was Invoker. That's my worst matchup, hands down. I actually hate playing against Invoker with Dark Broly because you need to just try and turbo them turn 2, 3. So how I used to play this matchup was don't take any life, but then I'm just sitting on no combo power and a bunch of cards in hand and I get victory struck.
Correct.
So how I play it now is I take a life every turn. I'll go down to 1 life if I have to. Every turn I can take a life with my leader skill, I will. Then you flip and you try and really get going, fill up your drop, try and get all 3 of your Broly's out at once. This matchup particularly, I remember it was against Peter Dance, and I got really lucky because turn 1 he had to charge red-blue, and then I think turn 2 he charged a red-blue again and tapped out to play Tournament of Power. And I remember playing Mira and giving it double strike. Like, I remember swinging with everything, loading my drop, playing Mira, giving it double strike to push him to 1 or 2 life on my turn 2. 2, or on his 2 energy.
Mhm.
That way I could try and secure the win.
Applying
And then
force
the
directly
closeout
before
game, I just exactly, that was why the matchup for Invoker comes down to if you see your double strikes, which sucks, but if you see them, you're going to have a good time. If you don't, you're in trouble. So Invoker's the toughest matchup. Round 3, I played Kevin Zuniga's Broly Harudagarn. That was a tough matchup, really close games both times. I think he got round 1, game 1, and then I got 2 and 3. But he's a great player. He beat me at the last at the December webcam finalists. Round 5 was against Ryan Severin's Sin Shenron.
Mr. Severin.
I won that 2-0. Just sucks because Sin Shenron's free against this deck. If you know the matchup, it's very difficult for Sin to overcome Dark Broly. They have to hit a perfect storm of seeing all their techs, and if they don't main deck them, they're going to lose game 1 regardless.
Yeah, and the whole part about Sin Shenron is like you're supposed to cruise and just survive until you can start tapping 6, and you become the most dominant late game deck almost in the late game. I mean, you hide behind a Secret Rare blocker, and every turn your board comes back and you're like, could you deal with it last turn? Okay, we'll try to deal with it again this turn. But then Dark Broly just sits there and picks away at their graveyard, and you get to 6 energy, can't make a board. Like, oh my god, it's not fair.
I think he tapped 6 against me, and I think he only played 4 dragons. And it was tough. Yeah, it was it's a tough matchup for sure. So I think that is definitely one of the better ones Dark Broly has. Round 6 was the last round in Swiss. I was undefeated at this point, and I played Andrew Devalle, or Deval. He was a really good player. To me, Red Broly with my build is basically a free win, and he challenged me every game. I did 2-0 him in Swiss, but we ended up playing again in the finals that was streamed. So my finals was round 7, Eduardo Gavilan. I think he was from Nicaragua. He was a really nice guy, Red Broly. I won that 2-0. What was interesting about that matchup is he sided Golemites against me to pop my blocker, and that was totally caught me by surprise and took me out of left field.
That's weird, but that actually is really nifty.
Yeah, honestly, I was like, this guy knows that this Dark Broly's a bad matchup, so it's a really strong side. I did Jiren again for the next top cut. That was Mike, who I played earlier in the day. He ended up conceding, or withdrawing. Sorry, not conceding. And my finals was Dark Broly and Red Broly. This was Andrew Deval again, rematch. He actually won game 1. And when I say he won game 1, he slaughtered me. He killed me on 2 energy. I remember I took a second life with my leader skill, and I was like, he's not going to burn 6 of my life next turn. And then I warped in a gate, and he started going heavy on me, and then he made me warp another card. And I had the power burst in hand, and I'm like, he's not going to go well on in turn 2. So I warped my second power burst. The second I warped my second power burst, he just shotgunned me. He was playing Yu-Gi-Oh or something. It was wild.
I mean, that's Red Broly kind of do be feeling like.
Yeah. And then I had friends message me after saying the commentators were saying like, there was no way I would win and I should just concede, but obviously I didn't know any of that. So game 2 I got, and then game 2 I got, and I remember it so clearly because I was like, wow, there's no way. He had ended up he swung on me with a 1-drop Paragus. And I had my blocker on board, and I didn't block because I thought he's got 1 energy standing. I've played this guy 5 times now. I haven't seen 1 double strike. He swings with the Broly, gives it double strike, and I was like, damn, I should have blocked.
You're like, wait.
So he combos to what I think is 45, and I combo out my hand, and I say, all I got is 45. And he goes, oh, I have 44. My Broly's a red 4K.
Oh.
And then he scooped. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that. I actually won by 1,000 power.
You're like, yo, I'm alive.
And then game 3, Champa came in clutch. If Champa saved the day for me, it was like I ended up, he went to 2 life. I swung with leader. He didn't block. So I was like, well, I don't care what I can do for the rest of my turn. This is where I go in. And I ended up taking it because Champa's the best card in the game.
I mean, especially when you put it on top of a 30k. Like, 40k double strikes are no joke.
Everything in this deck, like even the unison, right? To me, 30k is the the magic number where your opponent's probably going to take it. So even the Toa unison swinging at 20, you give a double strike, it's now swinging at 30, right? It's
right now.
Yeah, it was a really fun tournament. I think for the most part it was done well. PPG did a good job. My big thing was I hate going to time. If you watch my video on webcam battles, I say never play a deck that's going to go to time. It's not fun for anybody. You don't want to end up in a draw situation, or your opponent wins game 1 and then game 2 is a 40-minute slog where they just stall you out.
Big facts.
So yeah, that's my Dark Broly deck in a nutshell. If anybody ever message me on the YouTube channel, message me on my blog, message me on Facebook, you want to talk about Dark Broly, you want to talk about my deck, I'm always happy to. Big shout out to all the people who helped me build the deck and get it where I am and test it with me. I love it. I'm going to keep playing it into set 12. And I can't wait to keep working on it.
Hey.
Big inspiration to me, and special shout out to Chris Spencer, Universe X DBS. I always watch your videos. I always like your interpretation of the list. I liked how you showed a bunch of different builds. I tried a couple of your builds, not really my style, but they were still fun. Mm-hmm. So you were definitely a big influence on the deck as well, and big shout out to you for that.
Hey man, it feels great to hear that. And I am going to go back to playing some Dark Broly stuff, like putting a lot more stuff online. I've just been a little quiet because been working on the deck a lot, and I want to at least be able to take it to a tournament before I start going like balls in with all of the little things I've been trying out and testing. So either way though, I am very, very, very excited to have such an in-depth profile like this. And luckily for you guys, if you do like the Dark Broly content as well, which you should, I feel like you should, as long as it's down, I wanted to have a part 2. Like, I definitely wanted to have a part 2. And so that sounds like I have his approval. So I think we'll be back later this week, early next week, whenever the video gets edited, whenever things lay down. But you know what? we're gonna have some good times with this.
Yeah, I promise it'll be fun. I promise we're gonna talk about where Dark Broly's going. I like the deck. I want to talk about it some more. So I'm down, man.
Alrighty then. Well, thank you for coming on the channel, and I look forward to having you back on the channel.
Thank you for having me. I can't wait.
All right, and thank you guys for tuning in yet again. This is one of the longer videos we've done, but I feel like it was just chock full of relevant information, whether you wanted to play against the deck, whether you wanted to play the deck, whether you just wanted to kind of dive in and see what it's about. So thank you guys for watching. If you like the content, think about hitting that subscribe button, and I will see you next time you decide to join Universe X.
Hit the subscribe button. No questions, just saying.
See ya.